Hello, my dear citizens of the world. Or at least, that's what you're going to call yourselves within a few minutes. Forget all for one moment that you're Belgian, or that you're Flemish, or that you're from, I don't know which country you come from, because that's all the same to me. I welcome you all warmly to our future that is totally made possible by our past. I welcome you to Earth, the only country in this part of the universe. Let's start small. My fellow competitors, we are one big class today. My fellow competitors, to come back to you, you're all the fashionistas of the class. The three things you care about are fashion, fashion, and fashion. The public, you're all the study nerds of the class. The thing you care about are the grades you get. And here at the front, and to my left, well, that's where we have our gaming geeks. So in a way, our class consists of three groups of people, all based on common ideas and common ideologies. And the same can be said on a global scale. What is it that unites a nation? Well, most nations are all based on common traits, like a common language, a common culture, common achievements, and being proud of those achievements. In Flanders, we all speak Dutch, love our good French fries and beer, and yes, we're maybe a little bit too proud of the 12-centimeter statue we call Manneke Pis. And that separates us from the French. We all speak French, love their cheese and wine, and they're way too proud of that Eiffel Towers of theirs. I mean, have you ever looked at the thing? Yet, even though we're so diverse, we're working together. How's that? That brings us back to our class. How can we unite an entire class? Well, I speak from personal experience, and my fellow students and teachers will underline this, that the way to unite an entire class is a horrible teacher. If a teacher is just horrible enough, all those little groups, the fashionistas, the studiers, and even our gaming geeks will unite just to survive that year. And once more, the same can be said on a global scale. We, the quarreling nations of Europe, we united the moment that the USSR stood knocking at our front door. And we're still in the European Union right now. And there are even surprising collaborations. Israel, Jordan, Palestine, they're all working together at this very moment to refill the River Jordan with water, even though they're in a war state. So nations, faced with a common problem, can work together. But can we then also unite the entire Earth, like we did with the class? Well, it might sound a bit weird, but I think that in order to unite the entire Earth, we need a big common problem. And there are tons of problems that are coming our way. We have global warming that is getting worse. A solar flare could hit the Earth. Yellowstone could erupt. Let's check out that last example. For those of you who don't know, under the US National Park Yellowstone, there lies a supervolcano that, if it would erupt, would cause a new ice age. And sadly for the Disney fans, I don't mean a new Ice Age movie. But to come back to our Ice Age, what would happen to it? Phase 1, mass hysteria. The world is going crazy. Phase 2, relative calms as global leaders are trying to calm their population down. Phase 3, those same global leaders are going to sit together to try to find a solution to our problem. Phase 4, we are working together. Know-how travels from north to south. Phase 5, our ice age has ended, and we came all out stronger and united. But let's not forget the billions of deaths this would take, the cities that would be leveled to the ground, the achievements of men that shall be made undone. So therefore, I beg you, please prove to me that a class can unite with a good teacher, and not only with a bad one. Prove to me that we can all work towards common prosperity, not only to solve common problems. Prove to me and those historians that we did learn from our past. Because if we won't unite right now, we shall unite in the future. But only the price shall be far, far higher. But anyway, I welcome you all to Earth, the only country in this part of the universe. Thank you very much.
If we are all in that big Earth, aren't we giving away some of our individuality?
In order to achieve that, I think you all have to give a little bit of your individuality away. But that's like in working in a group. If we're all here and we want to do something, we all have to do a little bit water with our wine and make a compromise. And therefore, it takes a little bit of your individuality in the group to go away, but you can still be you without needing exactly what you really want. That's the way that the democracy works, and that's the way that we can work in group together.
If we were all in this class together, there are always bullies. What do we do with them?
I think that's the way you have to handle bullies, is just confront them with words. You're going to tell to them, give your arguments, why they shouldn't bully, why they should respect everyone. The way that we are doing really now with bullies in my school. Give arguments, let them say their counter-arguments, again say your arguments, and keep saying the arguments until you convince that bully that he was wrong. If that answers your question.
Both in Europe and in the United Nations, we're struggling to decide on matters like Syria and Ukraine. Does this not set a bad precedent for your worldwide union?
Well, there are always those little child problems, I guess, with a union. But the most important part, and also in the United Nations, we have convinced Assad to destroy his chemical weapons. We have told him that he should do that. And though it isn't really yet perfect, we are getting better and better and better at this. As long as we can talk with one another in the United Nations, in the European Union, I think if we listen to all parties, that we can find a solution to all problems.
I was wondering, what are phase 6 and 7 then, in your plan?
Phase 6 and 7? Well, phase 6 and 7 is just staying together, I hope. So, and then getting towards common prosperity. If you know that we can work together, then we can easily go to common prosperity. I don't think that there are much people that can imagine that we, Europe, and for example, America, aren't working together. The two villages next to one another aren't trading with one another. So the moment you get used to it, of working together, I think you stay together to just work towards common prosperity, like we're doing with the European Union right now.
When we look at 2014, are we in a better shape or worse shape than 20 years ago?
Than 20 years ago? So the difference is like, you mean the USSR has fallen and that great difference? In general, I hope that we're always continuing forward, and I think we're still continuing forward, that we're still are taking lessons from the mistakes we make along the way. Along those 20 years, we have made mistakes, but we've grown also used to correcting those mistakes, and we're getting better at this very moment. So yes, I think we are in a better state.
When establishing worldwide cooperation, do we need one ruler or do we use majority vote?
I don't think we absolutely not need one ruler. I think a council of the best people, of representatives, that all has to really get worked out yet. But something like the United Nations with a council that all decides about all matters, I think is a good way to work together.
Yeah, but isn't the United Nations a lame duck now?
A lame duck?
Yeah. what can they achieve?
Well, like I said, they have just forced Assad to destroy his chemical weaponry. They're, how do you say it again in English? They're talking with all parties in a conflict, and they're at this very moment trying to solve the conflict in the Central African Republic. And they're doing not a really good job, but anyway, they're talking with those people, and I hope that by sending, for example, more blue helms to the area, we can solve that conflict, like we did with many conflicts, thanks to the United Nations organization.
Thank you, Ms. Arts.